New Canada Border Bill 2025 to strengthen immigration and combat crime. Canada's new Border Bill 2025 marks a significant shift in immigration enforcement and public safety. Designed to tighten border controls, the legislation focuses on screening, crime prevention, and streamlined deportation measures. The video to reinforce Canada's commitment to lawful migration while enhancing national security. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. Today, the Government of Canada proposed a new bill, the Strong Borders Act, a comprehensive piece of legislation aimed at enhancing border security, tackling transnational organized crime, and ensuring the integrity of the immigration system. Tabled by the Honourable Gary Anandasangari, Minister of Public Safety, in Ottawa, this bill equips law enforcement with advanced tools to secure borders, stop the flow of illegal fentanyl, combat money laundering, and protect Canadians while respecting privacy and charter rights. For Canadians, this legislation promises safer communities and a stronger immigration framework. Dive into the details of the Strong Borders Act, its key provisions, and what it means for Canada's future. A new era for Canadians with Border Security Bill. Canada has always prided itself on maintaining secure yet welcoming borders. The Strong Borders Act, proposed on June 3, 2025, marks a significant step forward in this mission. As part of the broader Canadian border plan, which includes a $1.3 billion investment announced in December 2024, the government is enhancing its border security framework to address evolving threats. The bill responds to both domestic priorities and international pressures, particularly from the United States, where President Donald Trump has raised concerns over fentanyl trafficking and irregular migration, linking these issues to proposed tariffs on Canadian imports. The legislation aligns with Canada's commitment to collaborate with the U.S. on a North American Joint Strike Force to combat cross-border organized crime. It also builds on recent investments, such as $200 million allocated to Public Safety Canada and the Communications Security Establishment Canada for intelligence gathering on transnational crime and illegal fentanyl, and $743.5 million over 5 years to strengthen the asylum system's stability and decision-making capacity. Key provisions of the Strong Borders Act. The Strong Borders Act introduces a wide range of measures to enhance border security, improve immigration processes, and combat crime. Below is a detailed look at its key provisions, reflecting the official details from Public Safety Canada. 1. Securing the border with enhanced enforcement. The bill amends several acts to bolster border security. Customs Act amendments. The legislation obligates owners and operators at certain ports of entry and exit to provide, equip, and maintain facilities for the Canada Border Services Agency to examine and detain goods destined for export. It will also allow CBSA officers to access premises controlled by transporters and warehouse operators to perform export inspections, ensuring goods are properly reported, loaded, unloaded, or stored. This strengthens the Canadian ability to combat illicit drug trafficking, weapons smuggling, and auto theft. Oceans Act amendments. The Canadian Coast Guard will now take on security-related activities, including conducting security patrols and collecting, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence for security purposes. Minister of Fisheries Joanne Thompson noted, expanding the Canadian Coast Guard services to include security activities will help ensure the protection and sovereignty of our vast coasts and waterways, particularly in remote Arctic waters. Sex Offender Information Sharing. The bill amends the Sex Offender Information Registration Act to enhance the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's ability to share information on registered sex offenders with domestic and international law enforcement partners, including those in the U.S., improving cross-border safety. 2. Strengthening the immigration and asylum system. The Strong Borders Act introduces significant reforms to Canadian immigration and asylum systems to enhance integrity and efficiency. Immigration and Refugee Protection Act amendments. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada will gain authority to share client information, e.g., identity, status, and immigration documentation, with federal, provincial, and territorial partners through signed agreements, and across IRCC programs for better processing efficiency. New powers will allow IRCC to cancel, suspend, or change groups of immigration documents immediately, pause the acceptance of new applications, or halt processing of existing applications for reasons of public health or national security. The bill modernizes the asylum system by simplifying online applications, ensuring claims are processed uniformly at ports of entry or inland offices, and speeding up decisions by referring complete claims directly to the Immigration and Refugee Board. Claims will only be decided while the claimant is in Canada, inactive cases will be removed, and voluntary departures will be expedited with same-day removal orders upon withdrawal. To protect against sudden increases in claims, the bill introduces two ineligibility measures: asylum claims made more than 1 year after arriving in Canada, post-June 24, 2020, will not be referred to the IRB, and claims made more than 14 days after entering Canada clandestinely from the U.S. via land borders will also be ineligible. Affected individuals can still apply for a pre-removal risk assessment to avoid harm. Vulnerable claimants, such as minors, will be assigned representatives to support them during IRCC and CBSA proceedings. Ending flagpolling. The bill addresses flagpolling, where temporary residents briefly leave and re-enter Canada to access immigration services at the border, by introducing measures to end this practice, reducing strain on CBSA resources. Minister of Immigration Lena Metlage-Diab stated, "Canada is taking action to respond to rising migration pressures. We're improving security at the Canadian-US border and making our immigration and asylum systems stronger, more flexible, and responsive to new and developing pressures." 3. Combating transnational organized crime and fentanyl trafficking. The bill equips law enforcement with advanced tools to tackle organized crime and the illegal fentanyl trade. Controlled Drugs and Substances Act and Cannabis Act amendments. A new accelerated scheduling pathway allows the Minister of Health to rapidly control precursor chemicals used in illicit drug production, enabling swift action to prevent their illegal importation while ensuring oversight of legitimate uses. Minister of Health Marjorie Michel emphasized, "This legislation will give Canada stronger tools in the fight against fentanyl so we can save lives and keep our communities safe." Criminal Code, Customs Act, and Size Act amendments. The bill facilitates law enforcement's access to basic information and data in early-stage investigations, updates tools to address modern digital challenges, e.g., searching computer systems, and clarifies warrantless seizures in urgent cases, such as live child abuse. It also ensures the Canadian Security Intelligence Service has investigative tools to keep pace with evolving threats. Supporting Authorized Access to Information Act. This new act compels electronic service providers to support law enforcement and SISE by fulfilling legally authorized requests to access or intercept information and communications, enhancing criminal and intelligence investigations. Canada Post Corporation Act amendments. The bill removes barriers preventing police from searching mail when authorized, and expands Canada Post's inspection authority to open mail, aiming to stop the flow of drugs. Minister Joel Lightbound noted, "The proposed amendments will help prevent thousands of overdoses and save lives." 4. Disrupting illicit financing and money laundering. The Strong Borders Act strengthens the Canadian anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing regime. Proceeds of Crime, Money Laundering, and Terrorist Financing Act amendments, increases civil and criminal penalties for money laundering, introduces restrictions on large cash transactions and third-party cash deposits, and requires businesses to enroll with the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Centre of Canada. Permits FINTRAC to disclose information to the Office of the Commissioner of Canada Elections and enhances supervisory collaboration by adding FINTRAC's director to the Financial Institutions Supervisory Committee, enabling information sharing on federally regulated financial institutions. Clarifies public-to-private information sharing to support the integrated money laundering intelligence partnership between banks and law enforcement, with related amendments to the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act. Recent investments. The government has invested over $379 million in recent years to bolster Canadian AML/ATF regime, adding new criminal offences, strengthening penalties, and expanding CBSA's authorities to pursue trade-based money laundering. Minister of Finance François-Philippe Champagne said, "Canada is stepping up in the fight against transnational financial crime. This bill will strengthen supervision and enforcement to combat money laundering and terrorist financing." 5. Bolstering law enforcement and border personnel. The bill supports the Canadian commitment to enhancing law enforcement capabilities. The government plans to recruit 1,000 additional RCMP personnel to tackle drug and human trafficking, cybercrime, and organized crime, alongside 1,000 new CBSA personnel, including border officers, intelligence analysts, specialized chemists, and 9 new detector dog teams. The CBSA, with 8,600 frontline personnel across 1,200 ports of entry, remains first line of defense, preventing illegal goods and inadmissible individuals from entering the country. Why this bill matters to Canadians. The Strong Borders Act addresses critical issues impacting Canadian communities. public safety, by targeting fentanyl trafficking, organized crime, and weapons smuggling, the bill aims to reduce the opioid crisis's devastating effects and enhance community safety. Economic stability. The legislation responds to U.S. concerns, potentially averting tariffs that could harm Canadian businesses and consumers, ensuring strong trade relations. Immigration integrity. Enhanced controls and fraud prevention measures restore public confidence in the Canadian immigration system, crucial as the country aims to welcome 500,000 permanent residents annually by 2025. Border efficiency. Ending flagpoling and improving surveillance will streamline border operations, benefiting commuters and businesses reliant on cross-border movement. Canada's response to U.S. concerns. The Strong Borders Act is a direct response to U.S. pressures, particularly from President Trump, who has linked Canadian border policies to propose 25% tariffs on imports. By tightening asylum rules, enhancing border surveillance, and collaborating on the North American Joint Strike Force, Canada aims to reduce irregular southward migration and drug flows. The bill also strengthens the Safe Third Country Agreement by closing loopholes, ensuring claims are processed efficiently and fairly. Impact on Canada's immigration system. The Canadian immigration system, which welcomed 471,000 permanent residents in 2023, faces challenges like housing shortages and system abuse. The Strong Borders Act addresses these by fraud prevention. Enhanced screening has already reduced illegal U.S. crossings by study permit holders by 91% from June to December 2024. Temporary resident reforms. Tightened rules for international students and temporary foreign workers ensure they contribute to the economy without straining resources. Protecting vulnerable groups. New regulations impose fines of up to $1.5 million on unethical immigration representatives, safeguarding newcomers from exploitation. Looking ahead, implementation and challenges. As the Strong Borders Act progresses through Parliament, resuming January 27, 2025, key challenges include implementation. Effective deployment of new tools, like the Canadian Drug Profiling Centre and enhanced surveillance, will require coordination between CBSA, RCMP, and other agencies. Balancing rights and security. Ensuring privacy and charter rights are upheld while enhancing security measures will be critical. International cooperation. The North American Joint Strike Force requires seamless intelligence sharing with the U.S., necessitating diplomatic efforts. Public trust. Transparent communication about the bill's benefits and safeguards will be essential to maintain public support. The government has promised further action to address community safety, including measures to reduce gun violence, tighten bail for repeat offenders, and combat car theft, home invasions, human trafficking, and drug smuggling. A stronger, safer Canada. The Strong Borders Act, proposed on June 3, 2025, is a cornerstone of Canada's efforts to secure its borders and strengthen its immigration system. By equipping law enforcement with advanced tools, modernizing the asylum process, and combating transnational crime, the bill aims to create a safer, more resilient Canada. For Canadians, it promises enhanced security, economic stability, and a fairer immigration system. As the government moves forward, balancing security with Canada's values of inclusivity and fairness will be key to the bill's success. The Border Bill 2025 reflects Canada's evolving approach to managing its borders amid rising global challenges. While it strengthens safeguards and accountability, its real test will lie in balancing security with fairness and humanitarian values. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.